If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. And again, Neil, thank you very much for taking net control. Maybe I can talk to Carol and some others about next steps, but clearly I need to more consistently get to bed earlier on Wednesday nights. I'm going to miss regular engagement in this net, and will probably drop in and serve from time to time when I have days off or when I have a little bit more capacity for staying up late. But until then, I'll turn it over to you, Neil. That's KL7HQR. We'll be taking net control tonight. I want to say thanks to Carol for all the guidance and running the YouTube streaming while I'm running the net. And so stations who wish to check in to the net are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing it. That's for Neil, KL7HQR. Turning it over to you, N6EMF. I'll stand by for a little bit, and then I'll have to drop off by 9:30.
Roger, Wilson. Do you still want to transmit a picture tonight, KL7HQR?
Yeah, that's another point here is I'm finding I'm not having as many opportunities to prepare meaningful pictures, and I felt too like I'm getting in the way. So tonight I won't transmit. When I'm ready, I'll get one together and send one in a future net maybe. Thank you, Neil. N6EMF.
Yourself. So N6EMF number 1 in here. No pictures, just monitoring tonight. This is KL7HQR acting as net control. Any other stations that would like to check in, please do so now.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec. Bob in North Roseville.
Alpha India 6, Delta Golf, Joel in Florida.
Kilo November 6, Quebec, November Juliet, James in Gold River.
Okay, we have N6PGQ Bob, and we have N6PG Joel, and KN6QNJ James. Anybody else?
Kilo November 6, Tango Bravo Delta, Kyle in Folsom.
Kilo November 6, Tango Bravo Delta, Kyle. Got it.
November Romeo 6 Hotel. This is Anders in Folsom.
Kilo.
You call November Romeo 6 Hotel. I still think about you about it as a 3 area. Anybody else?
This is Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta Carol. Sit your sides.
Very good evening, Carol. And so we have, so far, N6BGQ, AI6DG, KN6QNJ, KN6TBD, NR6H, and Carol KB4MD. Anybody else? Okay, with Wilson not transmitting tonight, then we have 6, we better hurry in here. This is KL7, I'll check myself in as number 8. And let's go to Bob, N6BGQ. If you're ready, sir, let us know what mode it is. Go ahead.
Okay, this should be PD 120.
Bob, if you're transmitting, no tone so far. Scale 7 HQR, Bob. If you are trying to transmit right now, we're not receiving. Please try again.
Sounds like N6EMF. He might not have tone or PL tone.
I sent him a note on message. Let's see if it comes back. Okay, AI-60G, if you have a picture, please go ahead. I'll call Bob on the phone and clarify things with him.
Roger, roger. Here goes. First off, let's make sure I got time.
We got a tone.
PD 120.
Well, the Scale 7 HQR, we have received a very good picture. Almost no visible pops. I will refrain from make any comments. I recognize the place. So we'll see. Bob, N6PEQ, are you back? And did you receive the picture? Over.
Yeah, I'm here. Hopefully this is working. Can you hear me at the moment, Neil?
No problem. Coming in loud and clear.
Okay, well, it looks like to me we're back in Lost Wages at the Mirage Hotel, and looks like we've got pictures of the Fab Four, the Beatles, and a sign that says love, and a pool in the front with a bunch of rocks. And I may be wrong, but unless this is really an old picture, that might be like a Beatles tribute band like Rain. But anyway, came through well, very, very few pixel pops, N6 PGQ.
Very well, Bob. Thanks for the comments. And KN6UNJ, James, what about you, sir?
Sadly, I did not get my computer plugged in time, so I didn't see it on my computer, but I see it on YouTube Live. Thanks, Carol. And it came through very well. I recognize it. And I see the mirage and the waterfall and all the things that remind one of Las Vegas. It's a good picture, almost no pixel pops. KN6QNJ.
Roger. Okay, thanks for the comments. Before we go on, I have to acknowledge the presence on YouTube from W6NYX, Frank, and who else is there? KN6BRD, Alf. So nice to have with us. I appreciate you guys showing up. Kyle, KN6TVD, how about you?
Yeah, KN6TVD, good copy. Not much to add. The Mirage in Las Vegas. It's an interesting looking building there in the center of the picture. I don't know if that's supposed to look like a spaceship. Certainly does look like a spaceship. Few pixel pops, and I noticed on my side, I don't know if others had this same occurrence, but looks like I got a little bit of noise down the left-hand side of the picture. It's just kind of green and purple looking. Not sure what that's about, but that's about it. KN6TVD, back to net.
Okay, James, and I don't see a little bit of noise in the bottom of the picture that I received, but not much really. Okay, Andrews, NR6H.
Good evening. Yes, good reception. Very few pops, and a nice picture of the Mirage in Vegas. And in the foreground, we see the volcano that is running on a clock. One of the few volcanoes in the world that does that. So, very nice picture. Yeah, recognize it, and looks like a good day in Vegas. NR6H, back to net.
Thank you, Anderson. I'm glad you mentioned that because I've not been in Vegas in so many years. I remember the volcano, but I wasn't aware if it was still running or not. KP4MD, Carol, your turn. Roger, scale 7H2R. Thank you, Carol. It was quite an unexpected opportunity, and to get a 5.7 from Australia on an unexpected QSO with 100 watts, so it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. And, 10 meters never ceases to surprise us. It was pretty nice. Anyway, Carol, thank you for the comments, and one of the things you need to go up to Vegas, Carol, because it's quite a place to see. Not necessarily to gamble. It's just an eye place to enjoy. And for a day or two, and that's enough. Then you don't have to go again. Anyway, so let's go. I don't have anything to add to the comments, so let's go back to Joe, AI6DG, about the picture. Please go ahead, sir.
Everyone got me. Yes, Las Vegas, the Mirage. And this is the volcano, not the fountain, the volcano in front of the Mirage. One of the regular, every night, pre-shows that's along the Strip. Now, the Bellagio does have the fountain show. But this is one, I don't know if I've sent this out before. I don't remember having sent it and no one saying anything. So, for some reason, I had put it in my MMS SSTV and never sent it. I saw this and said, hey, I'll send this instead of the one I was going to send, which coincidentally, not surprisingly, also was Vegas. But as far as I know, the Love Show is still running, still playing, even though this is an old picture. I believe those placards or signs or whatever you want to call them are still on the Mirage hotel towers. The thing in the center, I believe, is like the atrium I don't know if that's the lobby or if that's where the Tigers used to be, because it was the casino resort that used to have Siegfried and Roy, the Tiger shows, and the White Tigers on display. And I think they had dolphins at one point too, but they've been gone a long time. One thing about this is the volcano's going away. So if you haven't seen it, get there and enjoy it, because after this year it's gone. And the Mirage has been sold. It's now turning into a Hard Rock, and Hard Rock is rebranding the Mirage to a Hard Rock and building a hotel-shaped building reportedly where the volcano is now. And they're going to keep running it this summer, and sometime later in the year rip it out and start the conversion to Hard Rock. So, woe is me. A lot of sad Vegas fans. They're going to miss their beloved volcano show. So go enjoy it while you can before it's gone. Back to net, AI6DG.
I have a question, but before I have any questions, does anybody else has a question for Joe? Okay, Joe, KL7HQ. I'm about to have a visitor from South America, and we're going to be going to Vegas. I remember this show. I remember the Treasure Island had the boat that sank, and of course the Bellagio with the fountains, and any other things that should be that's still running that we can go see.
The pirate ships are still there, but they don't have the pirate show anymore. The boats just sit there and have lights on them. Other free things. Go search YouTube for free things to do in Vegas. I'm sure there's lots of good videos. Fremont Street is quite an experience. So go down to downtown Vegas to Fremont Street. There's some amazing stuff going on down there. If you don't mind paying money, there's like the aquarium at Mandalay Bay. There's probably museums of various types. It's quite a people-watching place, so just walking up and down the Strip is amazing. Walking into the inside of Luxor, this huge hollow inside of the pyramid. Although I haven't been down there recently, I'm not sure as exciting as it used to be. That end of the Strip's kind of getting abandoned. Resorts World, you have to get down to Resorts World. That's the latest resort that recently opened. That's down by Circus Circus. Heck, Circus Circus. I mean, if you're in that kind of thing, that's kind of a rundown resort, but it's still one of the few places that's really a place to take your family with kids. So I'd suggest Google and YouTube searches for free things. Back to net, AI6DG.
Roger, thank you, Joe. Yeah, I used to go to Vegas a lot, but it's been quite some time. Thanks for the. Yeah, let's go back to Bob. N6DGQ. Do you think you got your things running there? We can see your picture, sir.
Well, we'll give this one a second shot with the radio turned to 70 centimeters instead of 10 meters. That might help. So here we go. This is PD-120.
Well, Bob, we have a good picture, and I will leave the comments for later. There were a couple places there where there was an interruption, and we have a couple lines there about 2/3 of the way down, but outside of that, very good copy. So let's go to Joe, AI6DG. Any comments?
We're looking at a nice, pretty, refurbished, redone dash of a car. Lots of pretty chrome, and the dials from left to right, amps, vacuum, RPM, temp, oil pressure, old style needles, old style indicators, meters. What do they call them in cars? Lots of chrome, shiny metal dash. I'm assuming it's one of those American cars from the 30s, because, yeah, at least, maybe 40s at the earliest. Ooh, pretty. Where's the rest of the car? Back to net, AI6DG.
I don't know. I got a good picture here, but I don't know if I would have been able to identify what kind of meters they are like you did, Joe. Good eyes. James, KN6QNJ, your turn.
Yeah, I have some, I guess it's some interference about 2/3 down. I know this is not an antenna analyzer. Certainly has something to do with the car. Picture came through really well, and I love the retro look. I assume it's something from the 1960s, maybe, late 50s. But I love the picture. KN6QNJ.
Okay, thank you, James. It's kind of interesting that I see things that I like, and to hear you youngsters referring to it to nostalgia and old time and retro, and I look at it and I say, hey, I remember those things. Kyle, KN6TVD, go ahead.
Yeah, good copy here. Same issue about 2/3 down. It sounded like it dropped twice. No big deal though. Definitely classic car of some type. Don't see amp meters or amp gauges on cars. Haven't for a long time, so I'm guessing, I would guess 60s, 50s or 60s. I'm thinking probably mid-60s. Some sort of American car, maybe a muscle car of some sort. Yeah, that's about all I got. Sure would like to see the rest of it. KN6TVD, back to net.
Thank you, Kyle. And NR6H, Andrews, how about you, sir?
Good reception. First quarter of the image, I would turn my head to it and saw something that looked like everything was really skewed, but then I realized that it was just a reflection in the metal there. And nice reception except for the two breaks about 1/4 from the bottom. See a bunch of gauges. With all these gauges, you would almost think it's a flying machine, but there's no altitude, so I would think this is terrestrial bound one way or another. Interesting that there's no speedometer. The thing is running at about 1800 RPM, but we don't know how fast it's moving across the land. And R6H, back to net.
Maybe that's not an important information. This KL7HQ, if it was airplanes, I would be calling these steam instruments, but what about you, Carol? KP4MD, and before I pass it to you, there seems to be a question on YouTube about why we don't have the net earlier. Maybe you want to address that. Over.
This is KP4MG. A lot of our members also participate in the 2-meter net that we have at 8 p.m. And then at 8:30 p.m. we have a 10-meter net. And as I said, this 10-meter net was very exciting today because we had an opening to New South Wales, Australia. And a number of our people on our local 10-meter net actually had reports there, got into Australia. Neil was one of them. Alf, by the way, KN6PRD, if you're following Alf on the chat on YouTube, is going to, he's been copying the net on his HT. He's been actually decoding some of the pictures using his iPhone, using a Black Cat app for the iPhone. And he's going to be programming the HT to transmit. He's got the offset and the PL tone. So you should maybe you should take a standby when he's ready. We'll leave a little opening between transmissions in case he wants to break in and check into the net, at least on voice. And he may eventually want to or be able to transmit a picture to us for the first time. He seems to be quite motivated to do that. The picture came in nice and clear. 5 gauges, I would guess. Looks like something that has to do with aviation, maybe possibly a flight simulator. I don't know. That's a lot of gauges for a car. So back to Net. This is Kilo Papa for Mike Delta.
Roger, Carol. Thank you very much. Yes, and we will take a break here for KN6PRD to see if he wants to break in. Nothing heard. However, we will take a break in between transmissions anytime. If you're ready to break in, please come in. You're more than welcome. Nothing to add. No, it looks like there is a flying environment because of what we see ahead of the gauges. It looks like some water inlets and mountains, and but I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that. So why don't we send it back to Bob, N6PGQ?
Well, this picture was taken driving down the road, sitting in the passenger seat of my brother's 1932 Ford. The black part on the top is the fairly highly polished dash with whatever it's reflecting from above. You know, it might be trees or road signs or whatever we were passing under. The gauge set are all new old stock Stuart Warner gauges. They're old, and the dash is in a 1932 Ford. It's a wider dash than was originally put in the car. The silver knob you see under the tachometer is the knob that you push forward and it opens the foot air vent that's in the cowl of the car. And the right little silver bar is the emergency brake that's in the car. So you're looking at a dash, and we're driving down the street, probably, maybe 65 miles an hour, something that speed at that RPM. And in a lot of hot rods, you'd pay attention to how fast your engine's turning to know how fast you're driving down the road. And so we checked it with the Waze app, and he kind of remembers how fast he's going. Car's a really nice car, and what do? You need a picture for the slow scan net, and that's what I took like 2 or 3 days ago. So here it is, N6PGQ.
Scale 7H2R, have a holding a break in case Alf wants to break in. Interesting. Good picture, though, if you're taken in those conditions. Anybody has a question? Okay. So you will calculate you're driving a 1930s automobile, and you calculate your speed based on GPS and Waze and internet. That's kind of a combination of different ages, isn't it? Okay, James, KN6QNJ, your turn, sir. And let's take a 1 second break to see if Alf wants to break in. Go ahead, James.
Okay, this is PD 120.
with a good picture, the scale 7 HQR, a good picture, because I think the background being deep blue and white and dark, we can see a few more pops, but very clear copy of a picture, and we'll see how the other guys comment. So let's go down from Kyle Anderson. Let's start with you. NR6H, how do you copy?
I received a very nice picture, good colors, got some pops spread out over the whole thing, but not to disturb what we can see. This is a landscape that has some severe mold infestation, I think. There's white stuff all over, and I hope that you got that under control after taking this picture. NR6H, back to net.
Roger, that's kind of an infestation that California is really looking forward this winter, and we hope to get some more of it instead of get rid of it. So, KP4MD, your turn.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Yeah, Alf, I guess he thinks he can't get into the repeater. He's over around West Sacramento using a 5-watt HT, maybe indoors with a, with a, what do you call, stubby antenna. So he's checking his programming. The picture, beautiful, beautiful, bright white snow, bright blue sky, and looks like a little hilltop with right after a good covering of snow there. Beautiful picture. I can't say where it is, but I think that's the kind of place that Joel would like. He likes the wild outdoors. I don't think he likes grizzly bears, though. But that's interesting place to be. I wouldn't want to be there in the middle of a wildfire, though. That's the only thing with all those trees there. Back to Nets, KP4MD.
Roger, thank you, Carol. Yeah, it looks like a beautiful picture. I wouldn't mind being there for Christmas. Bob, N6PGQ.
We have a very nice mountain scene. Looks like someone has shoveled or plowed the entrance to the house. Obviously, it's not taken real recently. There isn't that much snow up there. Somebody made a comment, so I don't know if the trees have dandruff or something like that, and it's been falling off on the house and the ground. But very nice, pretty picture. Quite a few pixel pops, especially across in the sky. But really pretty scene, N6PGQ.
Very well. Yeah, it looks like a beautiful picture. I was kind of curious to know where it is. Before we go to A6TG, let's go to Kyle, N6TVD.
Yeah, good copy. Like mentioned before, some pixel pops across through the sky, but still good picture. Looks like a beautiful place. My guess is probably Tahoe, but you never know. Interested if this is somebody's cabin or home. I mean, you can see the driveway has been plowed there, so yeah, it looks like a lovely place to be. I'm still getting some discoloration on my left-hand side of the picture, just down the edge, so that must be something on my end. I'll have to figure that out. But KN6 TBD, back to net.
Well, thank you, Kyle, and I hope your picture issues go away. Before we go anywhere, Wilson, if you're still there, I see that your note there on YouTube. If you were about to leave, if you want to have any comments, then N6EMF.
Yeah, sure, Neil, thanks. I'll just say something really quick. It aches my heart to say goodbye, at least for the short term. Again, just all about trying to get the family to bed earlier so we can do things in the morning. And I am going to really miss my Wednesday night tradition of serving as net control. And I'm going to miss everybody that I have encountered and learned from and had lots of jokes and fun with. So thanks especially to Carol for putting up with me and training me to do this, what I really like to do. And, I just want to express that if there's anything I can do to support this net offline, let me know. And one thing I have in mind is that I just offer offline support if there's a little project I can work on to improve things or help Carol or otherwise, let me know. I'm thinking, for instance, I would love to offer Elmer support on possibly weekends or earlier in the evenings for people getting started in SSTV. I know I can't cover all the bases, but I know that I can help. So keep me in mind for that, and I will drop in and participate from time to time when I can. So for now, I'm going to say, what's the Q code for going offline? Is it like Q, I forgot what it is, but I think it's a Q code for going offline. Is it QRT, shutting down the station for the evening? Until next time, 73 N6NA FM, and thank you.
Very well, sir. Before I say anything, Carol, anything you would like to
add? Thank you so much, Wilson, for all you've done for this net to help it grow, and you certainly have come very far and have helped a lot of people also getting into this mode. And this is just the starting kickoff point. Practice here, and then you get down on HF and enjoy sending pictures and receiving pictures from all over the world. 20 meters is getting really active now, especially on the weekends. Gone 14.230 upper sideband, and that's the hangout frequency for slow scan TV with the same software we're using here on this repeater. So that's it, and back to Nets, KP4MD.
N6NA. Anybody else has any comments on this?
NR68.
Please go ahead, then. Go ahead, Anders.
Just want to second all those comments and also say it's a big thank you to you, because that's you were the one that kind of pulled me in also into this, and I heard you on the net and thought that this sounded fun. So thank you so much for what you've done, and hope to hear you soon again, both live and on the radio. NR6H, back to net.
7HQR net control. Anybody else?
KN6QNJ.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Wilson, I think your voice is one of the things that drew me to stick with slow scan TV, particularly at the beginning when I was having trouble making it work. But I think between you and Anders, you've got me up and running, and now I'm hooked. So I'll miss you as net control. I'll particularly miss your sense of humor. KN6QNJ.
Anybody else before I see if Wilson has any comments back?
KN6TBD.
TBD, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Wilson. He was extremely patient with me, as all of you were a few weeks ago, getting started with this. Sad to see you go so soon, but I'm sure we'll see you around. So thank you for what you've done.
Anybody else? Okay, Wilson, any further comments? And on my side, I am echoing everybody else's comments that you're going to be sorely missed. You've been very strong support of this. You've been a mainstay of the new version of this net that's coming in since we've restarted. And I hope that this absence will be a temporary one. And in any event, thank you. Back to EMF, the real net control.
Gosh, I appreciate all the kind words. And Neil, thank you for taking a few minutes out of the net to basically recognize my presence with the net. And it's been an honor to work with such a fine and friendly group of people, a knowledgeable group of people. It really has been an honor, and I'm not quitting. I just need to make some adjustments for work and personal reasons. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me, and I'm not gone. I just something I need to do to get back on track with with rest for me and the family. So thanks again, Neil. Thank you, Carol and Anders, and just everybody that has said something nice here. So you folks go ahead and continue with the net, and until next time, 73. Appreciate it.
So long, Wilson. Hope to see you at any of the in-person meetings or online. 73 N6 PGQ.
For you. Good for you. And please come and join us as often as you can. And we'll be the same, but we'll try to carry on without you. So back to family where it belongs. AI60G, you're the one that have not made a comment about the picture. Please go ahead.
Yeah, as the photo was coming down, flashbacks to my childhood and the winter visits up to my grandparents' house. They had a retirement house up at Incline Village at Tahoe, and this is almost exactly what that looked like from the street. So this is, I'm assuming, somewhere up in the Tahoe Basin or along 80. I mean, I suppose it could be somewhere along 50 somewhere, but this is pretty high up. Look at how much snow there is. There's like 3 or 4 feet of snow. Very much snowed in house, not a cabin. Lots of snow on the roof, and maybe even some ice bridges. Very heavily built roof, I'm sure, to withstand the multi-feet of snow that are up there. And this is not in the foothills, and it's definitely a different way of living up there in winter. Not like down here. Back to net AI6DG.
Yeah, it sure looks beautiful. Beautiful, and however, I like to see it on movies. I like to see it on pictures. After 4 years in Alaska, I like to go to the like we go to the snow here, like going to the movies. You go up to the mountains and you have fun, and when you're tired, you go home. So, anyway, let's go back to James and see what's really behind this picture. N6QNJ, KL7HQR. Back to you.
Thanks, Neil. Well, this is a friend's home up in the near Donner. They recently built it in a neighborhood up there, and we went up there to celebrate New Year's Eve. So this picture was taken the morning of January 1st, 2022, and this is their new house, and it's pretty nice. You can see in the picture that the garage door is open, but the snow almost covers the view. You'll also notice that, this was after the big snowstorms at the end of December, that for fire prevention, and I don't know if this really works, the limbs on the bottom of the redwoods in front of the house and also around the house have been trimmed all the way up to about, I want to say, 30 or 40 feet, and that's supposed to help with fire. Anyway, last week I showed that picture in Nevada City of those down trees. I wanted to show something positive this evening. KN6QNJ.
Beautiful, beautiful. I didn't quite catch where it is located. Can you say that again?
Yes, it's near, it's just past the Donner, near the Truckee area. I forget the exact name of the neighborhood, but up in that area along 80. I think one of you mentioned that it's around off of 80, and that's right.
Well, thank you very much, KL7HQR. Anybody, any other questions before we move on?
This side or the other side on the Truckee side of the summit? Over by Donner Lake?
It's not far from Truckee, from the town center. I think on a nice day it would be a reasonably long walk. So I guess it's on the Truckee side.
Very well. Scale 7HQR. I see on YouTube that Alf has gone QNT for the night, so he's not going to be joining us tonight. I certainly hope that he'll be able to do so in the future. We have a few more people to send our nice pictures. KL6TBD, Kyle, your turn.
Yeah, alright, we're going to try this. This is the first time actually running through SSTV, so we'll see how it goes. This should be PD 120.
Roger, if you want to try a tone first.
I don't even know how to check tone on this thing.
Okay, if you're on transmit, there is, I believe, a 1750 figure there. If you touch that momentarily and turn it back on, it should send a tone. Otherwise, go ahead and just try to send a picture, and we'll let you know. N6 TVG, Kyle, if you can hear, there is no tone coming at this time.
Stand by 1 second.
We heard something there momentarily.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's transmitting without PL tone.
Yeah, I'm going to have to, we're going to have to try this another night, I think. So I'll just stay and play along, checking out everybody else's pictures. N6 TBD.
No problem, Kyle. I think all of us have gone through that at least 5 times. So, yeah, we'll give it a try with you next time. And see if it is just a PL tone, it's just a question of programming something there. So, anyway, NR6H, Anders, your turn.
This is NR6H, and I'm going to try Robot 36.
N6NA we may give you a speeding ticket on that one, but you came across very nicely. Boy, talk about retro. Let's go to Bob, N6BGQ.
Well, the picture came through really, really quickly, obviously. Well, we have a picture of a 16 gigabit flash card on the left side, and probably some kind of memory on the right, but I don't know what is. I'm not familiar with that particular shape. Very few pixel pops since it came through very quickly. So good quality, N6PGQ.
Well, thank you, Bob. AI6DG, Joel?
A SanDisk SDHC 16 gig card on the left, and a Sinclair ZX 4K RAM expansion card on the right. Maybe that's a case for it underneath it that it's sitting on. I'm not sure. Whatever. I mean, at least I'm guessing it's a Sinclair ZX and a 4K module. It could be something different. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's significantly older and smaller. Sinclair hasn't been making computer stuff for ages. Decades, multiple decades. Back to net. AI6DG.
Yeah, looks like we're in retro mode tonight, seeing things the way I remember. James, KN6QNJ.
Yes, it looks like a modern storage device, the SanDisk. To the left of the Sinclair, it looks like a tape storage device. I think it might have used some form of magnetic tape, and it was the programming device for that car from the 1930s. I think there's a slot for that. KN6QNJ.
L7H2R. I also thought about it was a tape device myself, looking at the picture, but I don't recognize the brand Sinclair, so wouldn't know. Kyle, KN6TVD.
Yeah, good copy on the half of it that I actually managed to turn the volume back up on my my handheld here. So all I see is basically the bottom half of the picture. I see the word Sinclair and a SanDisk 16 gig SD card. No idea what that Sinclair thing is. I'm assuming it's some sort of memory expansion or something to that effect. KN6TBD.
Yeah, same rings here, Kyle. NR6A. No, before we go to NR6H, KP4MD.
Very beautiful picture. I did at one time have a original Timex Sinclair ZX81 that I put together from a kit, and that came with 1K of RAM, and I got an off-brand aftermarket 16K RAM extension, and if I remember properly, that was also a kit, and that itself cost me something like $99 at the time. But I was just so thrilled to have 16K. I was able to fit a full machine code program. I learned how to do hexadecimal coding for the Z80 chip in order to be able to put programs into that. And it was really so much fun. But it's nice to see some of that original hardware there. Back to Nets, KP4MD.
Scale 7 issue. Yes, you're talking about 1K boards, 1K memory. Carol, it reminds me of my time with getting the Altair and then the IMSI. One of the days we need to sit down and maybe in person and exchange old time stories there. Back to Anderson. What can you tell us about this, sir?
Yeah, so memory storage is correct. The card on the left is just for size comparison. So this was the beginning of the end or one of the things that started to wear down the Sinclair organization. They made this little storage device. This was the Sinclair answer to floppy disks. It is a magnetic storage device. It's a tape loop, and you can see it's pretty tiny. It's less than 2 inches long, about just over an inch wide, and pretty thin. And so it had a tape loop in there, about 5 meters long, 15 feet long tape going round and around inside of that little shell there, and caused all kinds of mechanical problems, obviously, with that little tape rolling around. It stretched with time so that it was hard to read when it had made enough turns in there. It took about 7 seconds to make a full lap. So if you were looking for something on the tape, it could be the seek time was up to 7 seconds, and it didn't have a separate erase head either. So in order to replace data on this thing, you actually had to make one pass for the erase and then another pass for writing. So it was not a fast device at all, and the total storage on it was something in the order of 100 kilobytes, and that was assuming that there were no bad sectors. So with time, the thing wore down more and more, and you ended up with less and less usable space on those little tapes. So this was something that Sinclair pushed out and tried to use instead of floppy disks, because they thought that this would be cheaper. Turned out to be much more expensive, much harder to duplicate, which which was another issue, that they couldn't really distribute software on these things because there was no machines that duplicated these tape loops. It was much easier to duplicate floppy disks. So yeah, this was something that was used for the Sinclair Spectrum. Short break. So the Spectrum had an add-on that could read and write these little tapes, and the computer that I used the most was the Sinclair QL. The QL came out about 1984. I had a friend of my dad's that happened to be in London when it was released, and he picked one up from the very first batch. So I was probably one of the first in Sweden that actually had one. And the QL actually had two of these drives built in, so it had two side-by-side tape loop drives for these little cartridges. So that is the story behind this little cartridge. They're called micro drives, and it was one of the flops that Mr. Sinclair put out there that started the demise of the Sinclair Corporation. NR6H, back to Net.
And this is KL7H2R Net Control. And by the way, Anders, if you took the liberty of changing your call letter some time ago, and I think I, a moment ago, took the liberty of changing your name from Anders to Anderson, so my apologies. Yeah, very interesting. Anybody else has any questions on this? Well, hearing none, and I understand looking on YouTube that Alf was not saying QIT, and he was just talking about Wilson departure. But anyway, so looks like we will wait until next week and see if he can join us. KP4MD, your turn, young lady.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD. Chatting with Alf here on the live chat. He thought he couldn't transmit with the Black Cat app, but he just figured out how to get Robot 36 picture to transmit out of the iPhone. He's using the Black Cat SSTV on his iPhone. So all he has to do is be able to get his HT to talk into our repeater, and he may be able to send us a picture. Maybe he should stand by and see if he can get in. He's running 5 watts from West Sacramento, but our repeater is only transmitting 5 watts. So maybe we should just take a quick standby to see if Alf can join us. This is KP4MD.
Roger, we will take a moment here. So if you're around, Alf, please go ahead. Nothing heard so far. KN6BRD, and we will go to Carol for a transmission of a picture, and then we'll again take a moment for you to break in if possible, okay? So please go ahead, Carol.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking if he's indoors and he's using the stubby flexible antenna on his handheld, that might be a limitation because I know I can hear the repeater out that far when I'm operating mobile, but to use a handheld radio with indoors with a Weber duck antenna like that across, well, he's not completely across the valley. He's just only in the West Sac. It could be a little bit of a challenge if you're indoors with a stubby antenna. He says he's trying and it didn't work. But, okay, I'm going to send a picture here, and this is going to be PD 120, KP4MD.
Carol, no tone so far.
Yeah, just give me a moment. I got to restart MMS STV. I'll do that right quick.
No hurry, Kale 7 sure. Good tone. Scale 7HQR copy, a very interesting picture. I certainly don't think that was done with a drone at 1900, 1800, 1700 feet. So very interesting. Very curious to know what's going on behind these three segments of pictures. So let's go to the top. Let's see. I don't know if Wilson is still around for any comments on N6EMF. I think Wilson has departed. N6PGQ. Bob, please go ahead.
Well, we have three pictures, one labeled Yagi, one labeled parabolic, and one labeled stock. And they almost look like there's a camera taken from the location of where the antennas are. The Yagi says in the right side that it's at 1940 feet, and the parabolic at 1825, and a stock dipole at 1720. So it's kind of like someone is taking a test to show where, loss of signal occurs or something to that effect. I'm going to have to wait for Carol. Picture quality is pretty good. Few pixel pops, but nothing that is out of the ordinary. N6PGQ.
Roger, Bob. Thank you. And I see there on YouTube that Alpha unfortunately couldn't get through, and he uses the HT to get into the 2-meter net, no problem. But somehow he's not getting into this one. I had a hard time getting into this repeater myself when it first started, so hope you can get to join us soon. Air6DG, back to you.
So each of the three photos on the lower left of the photo has what looks like a Google map. Looking at them, they're all the same map. So I'm thinking that these are different antennas at different elevations on the same tower. And then in the lower left and upper right kind of look like they might be the same. That's kind of hard to tell. But look at the right, the middle right of each of the photos. There's a red dot, and the stock has a small dot in the center, and the Yagi and parabolic have a full dot filling the full circuit. So I wonder if that's indicating signal strength. But other than that, there's just enough here to tease us and make us have lots of questions, but not much in the way of answers, so we're going to have to wait for the explanation. Back to Net AI6DG.
It always amazes me that you seem to see a lot more details than I can, Joe. N6QNJ, James.
So I see the photo came through well, a lot of pixel pop showing because of the dark background. I'm guessing, because I saw it on Discord, that KP4MG had put up a video that talks about the comparison of these three antennas, so I'm guessing this is a photo from a video. I'm wondering about those tennis court-looking pictures in the lower left and the red splotches, which maybe are showing the direction of the antenna or the signal of the antenna. I can't quite figure that out. I'm also, the top right and the lower left seem to be showing a similar sky, but the one in the upper left has a different sky, so maybe they weren't taken at the same time, hard to tell. But it all came through. I just can't quite figure out what it all means, KN6QNJ.
We're just as possible, James. Kyle, KN6TBD.
Yeah, good copy. A few pixel pops. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Obviously, three different antennas, maybe from, like others were saying, maybe from the same tower. Those pictures down in the lower left corner of each segment there looks to be, I believe it's map view of Google Maps, and the red triangle is the direction that you're pointing. So I would assume that the Yagi is pointing, northeast, north-northeast, and the parabolic and the stock antennas are both pointing west. That's about all I got. KN6TBD.
Pretty good interpretation there, Kyle. N6H, Anders, please.
Yeah, I received the picture pretty good. Lots of pops across the whole, spread out over the whole image, but still can see what the text is and so on. 3 screenshots and then some data table down on the lower right. I don't have too much to add. It's very curious to why the difference between a dipole and a parabolic and a Yagi is so small. I would expect that difference to be way bigger, but yeah, just I guess we have to wait and see. And here, NR6H, back to Net.
KL7HQR. Okay, so we're all puzzled, Carol. It's your turn to show us what the mystery is.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. This is a still frame from the video that I posted on Discord. And this was a study that I did. Those images you're seeing are screen captures from my flight control app that's on my Android phone. I use to fly my DJI Spark quadcopter. And those are actually images that part of the video feed that coming back from the quadcopter. What we did was we were comparing distances for loss of signal from the remote controller to the drone, and it was done on 5.8 gigahertz. Actually, it was on channel 165, which is in the Wi-Fi band, and the transmitter of the controller has a power output of about 1 watt, The drone also runs about the same power. I think it's about 2 or 3 dBs less. And it was a test specifically for a safety test to see how far we could go without loss of signal. Loss of signal is a number of factors involved besides signal strength. It also has to do with interference from other devices operating in the Wi-Fi band and coming up on that channel. So yeah, the little maps that you're seeing there are maps that indicate the location of the drone. Flying over a park, and that's why you see it's over a green rectangle. And the triangle, that the direction the triangle is pointing is actually the direction that the drone is heading. So you can see in the upper right and the lower left, both of those triangles are facing left because they're facing west. And you can see the brightness of the sun since it was in the afternoon. You were seeing the bright sky and a darker ground for that reason. At the moment I took this screenshot, the drone in the upper left was actually facing kind of like north-northeast, and that's why you see a little different view. But I was flying these directly east from the point on the left edge of that map to where they ended, and then turn around and come back in a straight line. So it did show that the Yagi was able to get, I don't know, about 10% more distance without loss of signal, probably due to interfering signals on the same frequency there. So that's what it's all about. Back to Nets, KP4MD.
Scale 7HQR, any questions for Carol?
N6QNJ.
Please go ahead.
Carol, when you lose signal, does the drone land and you have to go pick it up? Or I'm trying to understand the test. I think I understand what you were trying to test, but it's interesting that you're checking for signal loss. I guess I would worry that if it goes too far, you lose control of the drone. But I'm interested to hear the answer to that.
Okay, yeah, that's that's a good question. This particular quadcopter is equipped with the option of having it automatically return to home. It's got a built-in GPS, so it knows where it is. When it loses signal, it takes you can set it so that it goes to land exactly where it is, which I wouldn't do. I have it set to return to home if I absolutely do lose control, because it's out of range. Yeah, and in any case, I didn't wait until I had complete loss of signal. I just waited until I was getting warnings. You get the top of that top band inside each picture. It turns red when the signal is weak, and it's a warning. When you have a good solid signal, that band up there is green. So when I was getting more red than green, that's when I decided that was a loss of signal point. I wasn't going to bring it completely out of my range, and anyway, you're not supposed to fly it beyond the visible line of sight. So that's about the limit of the range for seeing that at that distance. Over.
KP4MG, thanks. That's really interesting. KN6QNJ.
Carol 7HQR Net Control. I have a question, Carol. And first of all, when I first mentioned, I thought that was a height. Altitude, obviously, that is a distance in feet. And how high were you flying the drone?
Yeah, I was actually flying all of them. All of those flights were at 160 feet, which is 50 meters. And yeah, if I go all the way up to the top to 400 feet, it's so tiny, it's really hard to see up at that height. Over.
Since my drone is even smaller than yours, so yes, I definitely understand. Very interesting. I definitely would like to sit down with you, have a cup of coffee on this days, and just talk drone. I have a lot to learn from you. Very interesting. Thank you so much. Any other questions? We're getting very late in here. Before I send my picture, I'm going to try to send it very quickly. Let's see. Any other questions for Carol?
Quick question, KN6TBD.
Please go ahead.
Carol, you mentioned Discord. Where can I find the link for that? Because I was actually thinking about creating a Discord myself because I didn't think there was one. But if there is one, if we can get the link, that'd be great.
Yeah, okay. I can send you the link to invite you in. Why don't I go ahead and do that? I'll go ahead and email that to you over.
Copy, thank you. N6TVD.
Roger, I wouldn't mind getting that as well, Carol 7HQI. Okay, I'm going to send one. It should be Martin 2 very quickly, and I think comments will be very quick because I'm sending this with 3 different meanings. First is welcome to spring. Second one is exactly how I feel whenever I do an electronic kit build or whenever I work on my automobile. So that's what's behind this picture. Due to the time of night, we're going to go quickly down the roster. N6PGQ.
Yeah, it reminds me of putting my desk back together. I had at least 2 pieces left over, but it seemed to go back together and hasn't fallen down. N6PGQ, good night, everyone.
I6DG.
Birds are doing an IKEA build project for their nest, and they've got one branch or stick left over. There's always one annoying piece left over. His and her, and they've got the nest, but what's this go to? And I usually have that happen when I'm putting a car back together. Back in that AI6DG.
I think IKEA and Heathkit are pretty good kits to follow, but I usually have enough to build a VW bug. KM6QNJ.
That's an excellent picture to end the net on. I really appreciate it. I am curious, when everybody's done commenting, where the picture came from. KN6QNJ.
Right here, KN6TVD.
Listen, that's not a leftover piece. That's just an extra part they send you just in case you lose one. N6TBD.
Yeah, but you don't know that when you're putting it together, you know. And I6H.
So as a native Swede, I grew up with IKEA, and I have built uncountable IKEA kits and always get 1 or 2 pieces left over. But that's where the IKEA hacks come from. That whole concept is built on using pieces from IKEA and build something that you weren't supposed to build. NR6H Backnet.
Oh, so you have to get enough kits to be able to build something else. Okay, Carol.
Yeah, very clear picture. It's got kind of like a little cross hatching. I don't know if that's part of the picture. It's diagonal cross hatching from the upper right down to the lower left. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with, I don't know. Or was that in the original? It's KP4 Mike Delta.
Scale 7HQR. First of all, the diagonal I noticed when I look at YouTube, no, it is not in the original picture. A very interesting effect. I don't know if anybody else got that as well, but it's very noticeable on YouTube. and it's not on the original. There is a source of this picture. I have to talk to my wife. I believe it came on. She sends out donations to different organizations, and she gets sometimes little things like that. And I believe that came in one of them. I'll find out if I can, and I'll be glad to pass it on during the next net. Anybody else have any questions before we close the net? Very well. It's coming up to about 10:25, and I think we will definitely miss Wilson, but we will definitely keep the net going. Carol, I can tell you that I am going to be having visitors from Brazil for the next 60 days. I should be able to cover the net if necessary next week. I will not be able to cover it between the 16th and the 23rd, but if at all possible, I'll try to be available to cover the net as much as possible. Okay? Maybe we can train somebody else to come in and join us on this. Any further questions before we close?
N6NA, thanks KL7HQR for jumping in tonight. And Carol, when I can, I'd be happy to pitch in as well.
Yeah, thank you, James. I also want to tell TBD Kyle and Neil that I did email you the invitation to the Discord group already, KP for MD.
On YouTube that joined us. And looking forward to seeing you again next Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Same channel, same program. Good night, everybody. This is KL7HQR, and now closing the net 7 degrees.
KL7HQR, there was a double when you were closing out. I'm not sure who that was.
Please go ahead. If we double, please come back.
Okay, yeah, it's KP for MD. I'm sorry about the double. Just to let you know, check your email. You have the invitation to the Discord group, both you, Neil, and Kyle. And good evening to everyone, and thank you very much for stepping in. And I'm certain that we will be able to manage. Thank you for helping, Neil. It's KP for Mike Delta.